Good evening, everyone. From the west side of the Berlin Wall at the Brandenburg Gate, I'm Tom Brokaw. The Brandenburg Gate, of course, is in East Berlin, and the sound that you hear and what you're seeing tonight, not hammers and sickles, but hammers and chisels as young people take down this wall bit by bit. Earlier this evening, the Communist Central Committee in East Berlin proposed an action program, including free elections and a democratic coalition government. Tonight, citizens from both Germanys are singing and dancing on the wall itself, reunited right on top of that harsh symbol of division. Thousands of East Berliners have been pouring into West Berlin since the borders were open, and tonight in this city, famous for its carefree nightlife, in this city where the song says, life is a cabaret, tonight in Berlin it is Freedom Night. But some of the celebrants appear to have gone too far, and some had to be dragged away. This is the east side of the Brandenburg Gate, where thousands of East Berliners have been crossing into freedom all day long. Many stop and perch precariously on top of the wall, celebrating an end to isolationism from their neighbors. They've been dancing and drinking and setting off fireworks. We don't quite know what happened to these people, whether they were in a fight or whether they just fell, but in any event, they did have to be carried away by the East Berlin police. The Berlin Wall, that ominous barrier between communism and democracy, was torn down symbolically yesterday when East Germany opened its borders to immigration and travel. But today, sections of the wall are being knocked down physically, not just by kids, but by soldiers of East Germany as well as citizens. Arthur Kent has been out in the streets and into the neighborhoods that are about to be made whole again after nearly 3 decades.
A neighborhood party, Berlin style.
There's a big hole in the second wall.
On the east side of the Berlin Wall, something new tonight, soldiers dismantling it, not guarding it with rifles. And on the west, the fire department, doing its part to open a road closed 28 years by morning.
I put down this platform because tomorrow we will open the border.
When the wall went up, it carved Berlin in two. Nowhere did that have a harsher effect on its people than here in Bernauer Strasse, where the barrier separated a very closely knit community. Robert Schwarzenzer was here the day the wall went up.
It divided community, it divided families, and if you imagine, on the other side there were buildings, and on this side were buildings, and neighbors lived together, and overnight, or a couple of days, they were cut off from each other.
Some of those trapped in the east paid with their lives trying to escape. The despair the wall caused among the people it divided made it a hated obstacle to human dignity. Tonight, the people had their revenge, but not for long. West German police wanted to keep the area clear. The firemen needed room to work, and they didn't want to antagonize East German soldiers on the other side, who lifted the wall away, slab by concrete slab. Tomorrow, Bernauer Strasse will be reopened. Residents will once again stroll the length of the neighborhood, but the bitter memory of the Berlin Wall won't die quickly.
As long as that cruel, terrible thing is still standing, I don't know. Ask me later when they are turning it down.
Arthur Kent, NBC News, Berlin.
And so the Berlin Wall is a far cry from a symbol of the Cold War tonight. The cold stone barrier is alive with excitement as the West greets the East. It's like New Year's Eve, only better here because it's not been celebrated in so many years. It's as if all the energy put toward isolation now is being spent on joy and a new beginning. Here's Martin Fletcher.
It looked as if the entire city of Berlin, east and west, was out in the streets. A street party that hasn't stopped for 36 hours. The euphoria is catching, dancing down the main streets, East and West Berliners who can't get enough of their new unity.
It's a great night. There's something happening in East Berlin, and that is a feeling you must understand, and the only thing you have to do is dancing.
From all parts of the city, they converged on the center and just walked and walked, dazed at the speed with which 28 years of forced separation could be swept away.
We are very, very happy. That's a great moment for us in West Berlin. And we're happy that the people from East Berlin can come over and see us and see all those wonderful things here.
The next day's headlines read, "We thank God," but this East Berliner isn't having any of that.
All people in East Germany, they stand on the street and they fight for rights. Not God. Not God.
East Germans toasting their victory with West German champagne. They still can't believe their luck. Most had nowhere to go and nothing to do. They just felt the need to be out somewhere savoring their role in history. The Berlin Wall, awesome symbol of Europe's division, has long been a relic of the Cold War, but a still potent one. Now it's become a museum piece. Tonight at the Brandenburg Gate, it looked like a disco. Dancing everywhere, East and West joining in a celebration of a united future. And quiet homage, too, to the memory of East Germans who died trying to escape from the East to freedom in the West. All rolled into one here, the pain of the past, a joyful present, and hope for a united future. Martin Fletcher, NBC News, West Berlin.